Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Mondays with Michelle video. This week, we're going to talk about the British home children who were sent to Canada. We'll explore various websites and discuss the resources available that can help you discover more about the home children in your family tree. Let's get started. So, one of the main websites, and I like to think of this more as the hub for information on home children in Canada, is this website, www.britishhomechildren.com. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the home page, the site index has all kinds of links. And what I also like about this site is they're kind enough to identify some of the newer links that have been posted. So what I wanted to show you is a few of the main areas that would be of interest if you are researching British home children in Canada. So the first entry, this British Home Children Registry, note that it's got entries for over 83,000 children. And if we take a look, because I opened up the link to the registry, so this is taking you to a separate website, britishhomechildrenregistry.com. And if you notice, there's quite a few different criteria you can search on. The other point is they are updating this registry on a regular basis. You notice this was last updated February 19th. So they're saying the registry is updated at least weekly. I did search on Renton's, couldn't find any, but the nice thing is you can also search just by first name if you want. So if I click search, this is to give you an idea of the kind of information you can find. You get surname, given name, gender, birth year, the ship that they arrived in Canada on, the age they were when they arrived, the year they arrived. Most importantly, the organization that was responsible for sending them to Canada. So this can provide clues to other records, particularly on the UK side. So if we click on the surname, it will bring up any other information that they have included when the volunteers involved in this website researched the individual. So in this case, they actually tracked some other biographical information about this person. He was a soldier in World War I and was killed at Vimy Ridge. So we've got some other details there. So that registry is certainly a useful resource if you have British home children in your family tree. If we go back to this main website, another useful resource is this link here, British Home Children in Canada website. And if I was to click that link, it brings up this particular site. And again, this is a site that has many, many useful links. There are all different links in the table of contents on the left. So there is crossover to the information that you can access directly from the source site that I was showing you. But this again is a site that has more information that would be of interest if you are researching your British home children. There are also links to how to research your home child. There is a virtual museum, and more importantly, there are actually databases with names of children. So let's take a look at a few of these resources. So we talked about the link if you are researching. This is going to give you some general information. There are Facebook groups you can join for people who are researching their British home children. Again, different links on the left, including links to the Library and Archives Canada immigration records. There is also a virtual online museum. So this is showing some of the items to do with the home children. So you can go through their collection and look at what is available and the kinds of documents that you might be able to locate. Some of the databases that have information, this is the Salvation Army database. And in this case, if we look at an entry just to see the kinds of details, you've got surname, first name, date of birth, approximate age. You've got whether their departure and arrival dates, the name of the ship, where they sailed from. So you've got quite a bit of detail on that individual. And there's a link to the Salvation Army website if you want more information. Another database is an index of girls who were at 661 Huron Street in Toronto. This database says something really helpful. It gives you the name of the children's home in the UK where they came from. So again, useful clues when you're trying to trace your ancestors and where they came from in the UK. So the fact that they've given the name of the home in the UK, that is a useful clue. This next one, this is one of the Bernardo home indexes. And again, you can search on a number of different criteria. The information they give is similar. We've got, with this one, if you use your right and left arrows on the keyboard, you can see more fields. And if you click more details, it will give you some additional information on that individual. And the other database I wanted to show you, they do have a World War I service index. So they have looked at a number of these individuals and traced their service records. And as you can see, there are 233 pages of information. So where possible, they have included some of the service information for all of these British home children. Another website I came across that I thought was really interesting was this Niagara-on-the-Lake Museum in Ontario, and they have a British home children display and research area. So what we're looking at here is a list of some of the resources that they offer. So they have a database. They have a research link. So if we look at this research link, it is actually a PDF file that is downloaded that is giving you the information on what they offer, how those sources were compiled. And the Niagara-on-the-Lake Museum is focused on the work of, I believe it's, yes, Maria Rye, who was responsible for bringing a number of children to Canada. And it talks about the period of time when she was actively recruiting underprivileged children, bringing them to Canada. So there's some work done 1869 to 1879. There's compiled records from 1880 to 1896. So what this document talks about is the different individuals involved in researching all of those records, putting it together in a database and making it available on this website. If we look at the actual database of the children, again, it's another PDF file, and I'll just make this a little bigger so it's easier to read it. So this is a PDF file of all of the children that they were able to identify from 1868 to 1914 for Maria Rye's organization, the Church of England Waifs and Strays Coming to Niagara, for that period of time. And you can see the ages, their position. She took a lot of young women who were trained as domestic servants, basically, and brought them over to Canada with the expectation that they would then have more opportunities and have a better life. So you do find out the ship they came on, the port they left, the port they arrived, and some basic information on age, arrival dates. And the compilers of this information cross-checked some of the records of the organization against ships' passenger lists and immigration records to try and come up with this comprehensive list of individuals. So that is a useful source. And Maria Rye had apparently purchased property in Niagara, which is why this museum has so much information on the British home children. So that's a useful resource. Another website is Library and Archives Canada, and it has, in addition to background information about the home children, there is a database that you can search, and it says the database gives access to more than 245,000 names. So that is another really useful resource. And if you go into the database, this is the kind of entry you will see. You see a list of names. I searched just on first name of John, and these are all of the names that matched. So you get their name, their age, the ship they were on, if it's known, the year of arrival, and some indication of the record where that person's information appears. So if we take a look at this one for Johnson, for example, if I click on that, my computer is thinking. It would give you additional details if they were available on that particular record. And of course, my computer is taking a while to think, so we'll just leave it to think for the moment and go on to the last website. So the other website I wanted to show you was one that is sponsored by Veterans Affairs in Canada. And it is the stories and the memories of some of these home children. So what you are looking at here is, again, some background information talking about the home children in the First World War, the interwar years. And there are different stories published about some of these home children. So it makes for very interesting reading to give you some idea of what their experiences were. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Don't forget to download the handout. You'll find the link in the video description at the bottom of your screen. You may need to click Show More to see the handout links. Thanks for watching.